Rolls-Royce, a name that has become the very definition of luxury, elegance, and perfection. From the polished silver hood ornaments to the whisper-quiet engines, these cars represent limitless wealth and mechanical brilliance. But behind this global symbol of prestige lies a story that began in poverty, with a boy who sold newspapers barefoot on dusty British streets. A boy whose hands once built doorbells and dynamos would one day create the smoothest car on earth. So sit back and relax, because today we're uncovering the unbelievable story of how a poor boy created Rolls-Royce. Humble beginnings. Henry Royce was born in 1863 in the small English town of Alwalton near Peterborough. His family wasn't just poor, they were struggling to survive. His father, a miller, went bankrupt when Henry was still a child. At just 9 years old, Royce lost his father and was forced to quit school. He delivered telegrams, sold newspapers on the streets, and worked long hours just to afford bread. Yet through all this hardship, one thing stood out. He was fascinated by how things worked. Whenever he could, he'd collect bits of scrap metal, clock springs, and broken toys to study their mechanics. No school, no resources, just unstoppable curiosity. Then, at age 14, thanks to financial help from a compassionate aunt, Henry got a life-changing opportunity, an apprenticeship at the Great Northern Railway Works in Peterborough. There, surrounded by machinery and the smell of steam, he began to master the world of engineering. Day after day, he watched the great engines come to life, learning every bolt and gear until their secrets became second nature, lighting up the world. After completing his apprenticeship, Royce moved to London and worked for the Electric Light and Power Company. Electricity was still a new miracle, dangerous, expensive, and poorly understood. But Royce saw its potential. When the company collapsed a few years later, he refused to give up. With only £70 in savings, he started a small workshop in Manchester in 1884. Its name was simple: F. H. Royce and Company. Inside an old warehouse, he and a partner built electrical fittings, doorbells, dynamos, and small motors. The workshop was freezing in winter and boiling in summer, but Royce demanded perfection in every detail. His motto was simple: whatever is rightly done, however humble, is noble. Within a few years, his business began to grow. But deep inside, Henry dreamed of building something far greater. A machine that could move on its own, powered not by steam or muscle, but by combustion. The birth of a dream. By 1902, Europe's wealthiest men were buying clumsy, unreliable cars from France. Royce wasn't impressed. He purchased a second-hand French Decaville car and quickly realized it was a mess. Its engine rattled, its parts failed, and its performance was poor. So, true to his nature, Henry took it apart piece by piece and decided, I can build something better. In 1904, he completed his first car, a quiet two-cylinder automobile smoother than anything on the road. It didn't shake, didn't stall, and ran like silk. Even the bolts were polished by hand. Word of this strange, whisper-quiet car spread quickly, and soon it reached a man whose love for adventure was as strong as Royce's love for precision. A meeting that changed everything. That man was Charles Rolls, a young aristocrat from London's upper class. Born in 1877, Rolls came from money and status. He studied engineering at Cambridge, loved speed, and was one of Britain's earliest car fanatics. He raced, imported, and sold cars from France, but he was frustrated. British cars were either too weak or too unreliable to compete on the global stage. One day, a mutual acquaintance arranged a meeting between Charles Rolls and Henry Royce at the Midland Hotel in Manchester. The two men couldn't have been more different. One born rich, the other dirt poor. One driven by thrill, the other by perfection. Yet the moment Rolls test drove Royce's handmade 10-horsepower car, he knew he had found something special. After just a few minutes behind the wheel, he exclaimed that it was the best car I have ever driven in my life. Right there in that hotel, history was written. They struck a deal. Rolls would sell every car Royce could build, and together they would call them Rolls-Royce, the best car in the world. Their partnership was balanced like the gears of a fine watch. Royce built, Rolls promoted. The engineer's obsession met the adventurer's charisma, and soon their brand stood for one thing: absolute perfection. In 1906, they released a car that would define the future, the Rolls-Royce 40/50 horsepower, better known as the Silver Ghost. It was quiet, reliable, and graceful, so smooth that one reporter said, "It glides rather than drives." During a 15,000-mile endurance test across Britain, the Silver Ghost completed the journey without a single breakdown. Unheard of in those days, the press declared it the best car in the world, and for once, everyone agreed. Rolls-Royce didn't just sell the spirit of ecstasy, each car became a masterpiece built by hand, with power you could barely hear. Triumph and tragedy, success came fast, but tragedy followed close behind. In 1910, Charles Rolls, always daring, took part in an airshow in Bournemouth flying a fragile Wright Flyer. The aircraft crashed mid-flight, killing him instantly. He was just 32 years old. Henry Royce was devastated, but he refused to stop. He buried himself in work, designing engines that would soon power some of the most important aircraft in history. During World War I, the Rolls-Royce Eagle engine powered Allied bombers and reconnaissance planes. By the end of the war, a Rolls-Royce engine had made the first non-stop transatlantic flight possible. From cars to planes, Royce had proven that his standards of engineering could literally change the course of history, engineering the skies. Even as his health declined, Henry continued to innovate. Lying ill at his home in West Wittering, he would sketch blueprints from his bed, sending notes to his engineers. In 1931, the company built the R racing engine, which powered planes that broke world speed records and laid the foundation for the legendary Merlin engine. That same Merlin would later power the Spitfire, the aircraft that defended Britain in World War II. What began as the vision of a poor engineer and a racing aristocrat had now become the technological heart of an empire. A legacy of excellence. Henry Royce died in 1933, but his legacy lived on through the company's unshakable dedication to perfection. Rolls-Royce continued producing some of the most iconic and luxurious cars ever made, from the Phantom, introduced in the 1920s, to the modern Ghost and Cullinan SUVs that glide down streets today. Each car carried forward the same philosophy born in that tiny Manchester workshop: take the best that exists and make it better. Royce's obsession with quiet precision became the DNA of the brand. Even today, craftsmen hand-stitch leathers, and though the founders are long gone, their initials still rest side by side, a reminder that perfection is never achieved alone. The pursuit of perfection. From that poor boy's cold, dimly lit workshop rose an empire of engineering excellence. Henry Royce didn't build a car company, he built a standard. He proved that greatness can come from anywhere, that a boy selling newspapers could one day craft machines fit for kings. Every Rolls-Royce that glides silently down a road today carries more than horsepower. It carries the heartbeat of its creator, the man who refused to accept good enough. Because behind every touch of luxury lies the story of a dream, forged in poverty, driven by passion, and built to last forever. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more such videos. I'll see you in the next one.